Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today, we're going to talk about getting trenched. We're here to talk about the customer journey to launch the Gap's modern trench coat, engage Gen Z for fall winter 2025-26 with the goal to cement the brand's love for years ahead. With us is our esteemed leadership, Richard Dixon, Zach Posen, and Mark Breitberg. Hi, guys. I also always like to bring Don and Doris Fisher into the conversation to evoke their spirit and their mission. A picture of them is right here. I'm Daniela Platt, a consumer behavior expert who represents brands for sales and storytelling. I love how products make people feel and transform people's lives. Well, let's get into it. Modern customers are digital kangaroos able to hop from brand to brand, and we have a problem to solve. This chart shows who are the buyers at the Gap, and we have a following for millennials, baby boomers, and Gen X. But the Gen Zs are the least interested cohorts. And while their parents and grandparents may love us, we don't have a direct line to communicate with them. Why does this matter? Well, here's a staggering, eye opening statistic: 32% of the population are Gen Z, and they have a purchasing power of 12 trillion, which we're going to need to stay in business in the future. So, what are we going to do? We're going to focus on a classic. We're going to look at the modern trench coat, a trench coat that evolves with you. This is our gateway product to lure Gen Z into the store and build a relationship. As we're going to show, there's a resurgence of the classic outerwear on the runway. We're going to be doing it in new ways. This is your grandfather's trench. Great craftsmanship, statement pieces built to last with one relevant and cool element. It is going to have personalization and self expression. Think versatility. Two color drops every 4 weeks. Color waves from olives to black, charcoals to red, different textures, building momentum, building energy, building buzz. Think about what Crocs did with their gibbets, or how people are Birkinifying their Hermes bags with different charms. These are going to be interchangeable linings, customizable buttons, all ways to create uniqueness for a person to individualize this jacket. While Gen Z may shop at Uniqlo or Cider or American Eagle for a trench coat, it's unlikely that the competitive set will offer this kind of personalization for this cohort that craves novelty. And why the trench? Well, take a look at the runway. It's trending and it's different. Here's the Celine leather trench. Kendall Jenner is wearing it. We've got Burberry in this brownish hue, which is a nod to the Pantone color of the year, Mocha Mousse. We've got Kim Sway in this great burgundyish red. And just last week, SS Daily had the trench on the runway as well in London. So now let's get into this. How are we going to achieve this? Let's break down our customer journey. We have four phases: awareness, consideration, decision, and post purchase. In the awareness phase, which is what we're looking at over here, we're going to focus on discovery and onboarding. We're going to hit on two key touch points, being social media and an email campaign. On our social platforms like TikTok and Instagram, we're going to have influencers showcasing fun ways to style the trench with some behind the scene looks to make it exciting and really personalize it. We're going to also add user generated content to build credibility and to drive traffic to an exclusive landing page so we can serve this cohort with new content, not what their grandparents see. We're also going to have email where we're going to send out campaigns that specifically speak the Gen Z vibe. And so they can experience firsthand the limited colorways and personalization in advance. Ultimately, we want adopters to see the Gap as a brand of style specific for them. Some benchmarks and KPIs to outperform in awareness. Well, social media engagement, industry standards 3.2%. We know that Hurley gets 6.2%. We want to drive more shares, viral content, organic growth. We can do it as well. Secondly, we're going to increase our email marketing engagement. The average rate for engagement with emails for apparel is 38%. I want our content to be so good, it's the number to beat even better. Our digital presence, we have areas to grow where you have only 3.2 followers on Instagram and 87,000 followers on TikTok. So we've got a big hill to climb to reach Nike, Cider, American Apparel, and others. Now we're going to enter into phase two, which is our consideration. our consideration part, where here we're going to be creating desire and intent to position the brand as a cultural icon. We're going to have to build attraction and differentiation, 2 touch points. We're going to focus on our website and our in-store live experiences. The website is going to have this is where we're going to encourage pre-orders and feature social proof testimonials. We're going to have stories as well as a fit guide to build confidence. This product page is going to be interactive with some of the new products and features. We're also going to have in-store live experiences and events to entice and engage the adopters with the product and do micro community building. It's here where we want the Gap to be seen as sophisticated, attainable luxury, but also future proofing the brand to have lasting impact. During this consideration phase, our benchmarks to consider, our benchmarks and keep in mind are the pre-orders and landing page to be greater than 20%. This is inspired by Nike Sneaker Drop. Shopify claims that the average conversion rate is 1.4%. We're aiming for 3.2 and up, which is considered the top tier. The Gap is our gateway. The Gap trench coat is our gateway to bringing Gen Z in for the full collection. Some other micro community building good ideas that we may adopt. Lululemon has a run club, Nike too. Todd Snyder has a recording studio, and even Cider bridges from online to in real life events. The third phase is the decision phase, and here is where we see conversion and revenue. We have 2 touch points, and I like to call this the cherry on top. It's where we do the upsells. This is where people can embroider their names on their cuff, put on a mantra, give a little bit of a button cover. Maybe it's a new cuff link, something that is specific that we have with collaborations with different artists and designers. We're here to also leverage urgency and scarcity because remember, these are drops and limited editions to build buzz. We'll probably float some hashtags like Gap My Way to build some excitement and encourage people to share. And one benchmark to really point out is the brand Ganni. They have done some interesting content that's really behind the scenes and fun. Their entertainment score ranks at 7.1, which is well above the industry benchmark at 3.4%. And I really think that the Gap, we can do that with showing some behind the scenes and fun content. We can achieve this benchmark growth. The other thing to consider during this decision and conversion phase to generate revenue for KPIs and benchmarks, sellout rate, the average range from about 40 to 80% within 2 weeks. Our goal, because this is a limited release, I'd like to get it to 80% within the first week of the drop. I also like to get a cart abandonment less than 25%, while Capturely claims that it really is 47% of an abandonment rate. I'd like to get ours down to be less than 25 so we could be really enticing and exciting, limited, and scarce. During this next phase, which is called the post-purchase, we've worked really hard to get Gen Z in. Now let's keep them. The post-purchase retention phase, this is where we're going to nurture our relationships. We're going to continue to share exclusive content that really serves this community with influencers and stories and tips that really affect this generation. We're going to encourage Gen Z to join our loyalty programs. We'll entice trenchers to leave reviews and share their looks from the city streets all the way to their private experiences so they can share their emotions. Some benchmarks and KPIs to consider in this final phase of post-purchase. Well, we have retention, which is the overall brand shopping and encourage repeat shopping. Also, Dash Social claims that the metric to watch is shares. The more something is shared, it leads to direct messaging and meaningful engagement. And lastly, let's take a look at this study. We see here that the overall benchmark for engagement, this is on TikTok, according to Dash Social, is 3.4%. APC and UGGs both generate about 6.3%. The Gap can do this. We got this. Bringing it all together, here's a map of our customer journey for a one-page glance. To kind of bring it all together, we've been experiencing success as evidenced by our nearly 900 million in revenue Q3 2024, which is a 1% over last year. We're doing really good, but there's 12 trillion out there, and Gen Z are the gatekeepers to it. Let's go get it. This carefully blended customer journey is rich with touch points that will spark conversations and community to position Gap as the fun cultural brand. Fine tune strategies, they will build long term brand love. Let's be entrenched for years ahead together. Thank you all for your time today. That's my time. Here's some of the citations from the statistics we pulled. And of course, with any presentation, there's always elements that didn't make the cut, like the Gap website and all the cool things that they do for personal wardrobe suggestions and AI chat boxes, the mission of the brand to bridge the gap and be relevant and culturally relevant, that Gen Alphas is on the rise to also 5 trillion in spend by the end of 2029, eclipsing the combined power of millennials and Gen Z. And what else is on the runway? More trenches, from Michael Kors to Tommy Hilfiger and Coach. And our marketing, it's good. We're just going to get better. Thank you so much for a great semester.